Better turn my mic on. Up. Right, that's on. Okay, easy. Now I've got to remember which button's which. All right, so welcome to the College of Medicine and Public Health and to the orientation session for mid-year entry for 2023 to our Bachelor of Public Health and our undergraduates, not undergraduates, to get our certificate in public health. So I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land that we're on today, the unceded lands of the Kaurna people. I don't think anyone's online, but for those that do join us online, I'd like to acknowledge those that are meeting us on other lands today. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and I'd also like to extend that respect to any Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander people joining us in the room today. Māni ngā putni Kaurna yada ana, so welcome to Kaurna country. As I said, this is the orientation session for the Bachelor of Public Health and the Undergraduate Certificate in Public Health. So hopefully you're both in the right session. Chris, all right. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to deliver you all the essential information that you need to get started at Flinders University, an overview of the support services that are available to you, an overview of the degree, an introduction to some of the key and very important teaching staff that you're going to meet over the next 3 years, and some good advice from our course rep, Jamil, who's here in the room. And afterwards, if the weather is kind enough, because it looks like it was going to rain out there, regardless, I'm sure he'll still take you up to the hub to show you around and all that exciting things that are happening in O Week up there. So the most important thing, of course, is to get connected, so Wi-Fi. So Flinders University has a network that is all throughout the university. There's some spots where it doesn't work so well in the hospital, but hopefully everywhere you are, it will all be fine. Also any other university in South Australia. Oh yeah, so if you have to go into Uni SA or even to our sites in the city on Victoria Square, which is going to be moving to North Terrace, you can access EDU Roam anywhere throughout Adelaide. So yeah, right, there you go. It's very simple to log in. You need your FAN and your Flinders password, so I hope they're all sorted out by now for you. But if you need any more information, there is a website link there for you to have a look. Now, there's lots of links that are going to be coming up in this presentation, so I'm going to make a PDF of this and pop it up onto our course site, which is still in development, but hopefully will exist in the next few weeks. I say that because, yeah, that'll give me a good time frame to work towards. Student ID card. So this is very important for things like accessing the library, for printing, for photocopying, and for some of those student benefits, so public transport and things like that. So to get your ID card, you have to request it. So if you order your card under the quick link section of Compass, and I hope you've all had a look at Compass, you'll be able to find information about how to get that ID card and get your photo taken for it. So talking about Compass, there is a new student website on Compass, and it will have information on how to enrol and register in all of your classes. So if you need any help navigating Compass or any assistance with that process of enrolling and registering for classes, there's a couple of ways you can get support. So if you link to this website here, this is our Ask Flinders website, and someone will get back to you via that, or you can give Flinders Connect a call on this number with option 2. Keep in mind it's O Week, so it might be a little bit slower with some of the replies, but they're generally nice and fast. So that's probably your first point of call for any problems associated with enrolments and admissions. Talking about enrolments, so you need to enrol in all of your topics. So hopefully you've had a look at that. The way to do it is to log into the student system, select the My Enrolments tab, agree to the declaration that pops up, scroll down to see the topics that are available to you, and then put a tick next to the topics that you want to enrol in, and then save those changes. So that just flags that you've enrolled in the topic, and it doesn't register you for any classes. Keep in mind that some of the first year topics do have higher numbers, so make sure you get onto that nice and early to get that class at a time that suits you best. And of course, you do have online option for all of the topics that you're enrolling in as well, but often they also have a time that you may need to log in. So go in to the student system, the My Timetable tab, study period, which is semester 2, select, change or register for each of your topics, and they should come up with a list of the times and days available for the classes. click on the plus sign to select them and then save it, and that will pop you into that class. If you don't get a preference that works for you, just come back and check maybe in the first or second week of semester, because sometimes, you know, numbers fluctuate and people pull in and out of topics all the time in those first 2 weeks at least. So just check back if something doesn't quite work. And if you get really, really stuck and something's just not working at all, you can get in contact with your topic coordinators and they might be able to help you. Unique student identifier. So from the start of this year, every tertiary student had to have a USI. Now, new students applying for Commonwealth assistance need to provide that USI on your Commonwealth assistance form to receive financial help. So if you don't have a USI, you won't be able to fill out the CAS paperwork properly. So make sure, first of all, check if you've got one, because if you've done any prior study, you might find that you already have one. But if you don't, it's very straightforward to apply. So just go to that website there and get that USI. And then you can finalise all of that Commonwealth assistance paperwork as well. So get familiar with your learning environment. So this one is a little bit difficult at the moment. So Flinders Learning Online, which is referred to as Flow, was the learning management system for Flinders University. We're transitioning across from Flow to a new platform called Canvas, which I've been told is much more user-friendly than Flow, particularly regarding access on things like smart devices and iPads. It's a bit easier to navigate through than Flow was. So it's important to know which topic which LMS your topic sits in, because it may vary as we are, as I said, in that transition period. To find out, go to this website. Any topics listed on that web page will be in Canvas. So to get to Canvas, just use your Flinders Opta dashboard. So that's a really, hopefully you've had a look at Opta. It's got lots of little apps in it that you can log into a variety of things like the student management system as well. So go into Opta and navigate to Canvas. If the topic is not listed on the Canvas page, it means it's on Flow. So unfortunately, you may have to get used to using 2 different learning management systems, but eventually it'll all be over on Canvas. To get to Flow, use the My System section on Compass and then navigate to the Flow link through that. Now, if you need some help in navigating those LMSs, they are a little bit complicated, but you'll get the hang of it very quickly. There are some online sessions that you can register into via the orientation planner to help you navigate those websites.
Also, the library is trained in that as well.
Yep, that's it. Just pop up to the library and they can help you.
Online stuff, you can go to the library. It's a lot easier than the online stuff.
Yeah. So the LMSs are really important because that's where all of your topic information will come from. So things like communications from your topic coordinators, it's where things like lecture notes, links to lecture material are going to be. It's where all of your assessment tasks will get submitted. So it's really important that you log in, have a look. So the information for each topic should now be released at 7 days before your start date. So there's a couple that are still a little bit lagging, but most of them are available. So you can start having a look and getting familiar with the content of your topics. Transport, parking, just a warning, it is a little bit of a nightmare in the first few weeks of semester. So give yourself a little bit of extra time to get in and find a park, particularly if you're starting any later than 9. But it gets a little bit easier as we get through the semester. So you do need a parking permit. So you can apply for one at this address here. There are some really good public transport options to get in. So the train, Flinders railway station is just down the other side of the medical centre on those near the big ovals as you come in. And it's only 22 minutes into the city. And I actually find it's quicker to get on the train and head into the city than it is to drive. So if you do, you shouldn't have any topics down on North Terrace, but if you do live on the train route, it's a really good way to get in. Loop bus, so all of these outer car parks where you might have to park in the first few weeks, the overflow car parks, and the train station are all serviced by a free bus service. So to get the information about that, just download the Busminder app, and that will link all of our campuses. So we have campus at Tonsley, Sturt, Bedford Park and FMC, and of course in the city as well, but the Loop bus doesn't service the city. It's just all of your topics will either be run in FMC or in Bedford Park. So you shouldn't know what's not. Okay.
Most of the classes are actually Sturt.
Health science ones.
Health science, so not different subjects are there.
So Sturt's just as you come in on the left-hand side, sort of as you come down from Blackwood. But there is a bus service, but it's a nice walk anyway, so it's not too far away. So inclusion and accessibility campus tours. So if you identify with having a disability, either mental health and or medical conditions, you can book a one-on-one tour of the campus if you'd like to, and that will use accessible routes for students. So you can book in via the orientation planner, and then there's an accessible campus map too. So if you do need special facilities and services, including lifts and accessible bathrooms, then download that map and it will give you a list of the ways to get around campus to avoid the large number of stairs that are around the place here. It is very hilly. Scholarships up for grabs. So a range of scholarships will be awarded based on financial need or academic merit. Most only take 5 minutes to apply. They're nice and quick. So if you jump onto the scholarships website, you'll see all of those that are open listed, and they do open at various times throughout the year as well. So it's good every couple of months if you're interested in that to just jump on and have a look and see what's available. Safety, so if you experience or witness any unacceptable behaviour or harassment, you are welcome to make a confidential report. You can do this in a few ways. Online, you can report through Safety on Campus on our website. You can email to studenteo@flinders.edu.au, or you can call. So making a report does not initiate a complaint, but it is a first step to offer you support, confidential support if you need it, and information on what we can do next and how we can help. So that information is available as well through the Flinders website if you need to find it quickly. Health, counselling and disability services. So as a student here, you can access these services. You can see a doctor or a nurse. So really important if you require any vaccinations, as you go towards the 3rd year, if you're doing placements that might require them, there are services available for our students. There is counselling services available. So if you need to chat with somebody, they are there for you as well. They also have a disability advisor about studying with a health or mental health condition. So just keep in mind, if you do have a health or mental health condition, we can offer access plans if you go to the disability advisor, and that gives you flexibility surrounding assessment dates. Okay, so if you do feel you might need that, it's definitely worth talking to somebody at Health and Counselling. There are self-help resources on that website as well, which can be really useful throughout that study period when things can get sometimes quite tough. You're welcome to contact them 9 to 5 weekdays or email them. But if you do need an after-hours support, there is a support line either at this number, or if you just don't feel comfortable talking to anybody directly, you can SMS a number and they can provide you some support via SMS as well. And again, these are all available to link out of the Flinders Uni website, and they can be found pretty quickly, I think, through the quick links section through
They're all
Campus.
free as well.
Yep. So Oasis is our student wellbeing centre. So Oasis is on the Bedford Park campus, so it's up the hill and the main campus there, and it's a student community wellbeing centre focused on supporting physical, emotional, social and spiritual needs of all of our students, so you can achieve your academic and personal success. So it's a really nice centre up there and really supportive, and they offer some really good initiatives. So Flinders Community Market, which is where you can access cheap, very cheap and subsidised groceries. I think they do it every Thursday night from memory.
No, Thursday day from
There we go.
11 till 1 or 2.
Yep.
And it's free fruit and vegetables, loaf of bread, and cheap pantry items. So it's basically food bank. I will show you guys where.
Yeah, show Oasis. Yeah, Camille will take you up to
I
Oasis.
go to that place quite often.
Yep, it's a really nice spot to go in there. They sometimes have lunches where you can come in and it's free lunches as well. They also offer some nice services around conversation groups. If you're interested in volunteering, they can facilitate volunteering opportunities for you. Mental health, fitness workshops and community chaplaincy if you need to speak to somebody. And they offer some really nice programs too, which can be nice and relaxing around mindful yoga, forest walks and midday meditation.
There is also a prayer room in there as well for those who are Muslim.
Yep. So we actively promote awareness of and respect for the diversity, not just of our staff, but also of our students as well. So some of the services that we have, so prayer room, conversation groups, equal opportunity advisors, Pride Network and the Good Vibes Experiment. So you can visit the student website support to find out more information about any of these. Textbooks. So we try as hard as we can to not prescribe textbooks that need to be purchased because we do understand they are quite expensive. So often your textbooks will be available through the library, or they may be available as ebooks online, which will be linked out from that Canvas site from your learning management system. So where we can, we try to avoid having to purchase textbooks. But if you need something more specific and a bit more relevant for something that you're doing, then if you jump onto this website here, you'll be able to see if there's any textbooks required. And I'm sure the topic coordinators will have information on their, I keep saying float, on their Canvas site if you require anything. And often they'll have links out to those online textbooks or whether they're held in the library as well. Okay, all right. So just some advice, make the most of orientation. So O Week, this is O Week, obviously. There's some really nice things happening up at the hub and all around the university. So they will go through right through till Friday. Finding your way at Flinders, so some things that are really important to do. Log into Float or Canvas, depending on where your topics sit. Search for Finding Your Way at Flinders, which is an online orientation. So if you need any more information, you can jump onto that website. Get familiar with Flinders and how the university works. We're here to help you with that. So just to make sure that that transition's nice and smooth for you all. You can explore some of the skills that you might need, discover some tricks and shortcuts to help you study, find out about all the support services available to you, and there's a whole lot of videos on there as well to help you. FUSA is Flinders University Student Association. There's over 80 different clubs to join, plenty of ways to get involved in uni life at Flinders. So we have community clubs, and these are just a really small snapshot of what's available. So Queer Collective, Students with Disabilities Association, and Mature Age Students Collective. Academic clubs, so they're surrounding particular courses. Cultural clubs such as the Hellenic Association, the Indian Student Association, and Indonesian Student Association. There's a lot more than that. Special interest clubs, so if you do have an interest in something, performing arts, tabletop, I don't know what role-playing enthusiast is.
It's meant to be role-playing.
Typo then.
Yeah.
And film society as well, if you're interested in any of those special interest clubs. And of course, you know, universities are well known for their political and social justice clubs, so Health and Human Rights clubs, Sustainability and Environment Club, and the Socialist Alternative Club. QR code here that will link you to that. Otherwise, just search for it on the FUSA website and you'll find information about it. But it's really good to get involved in these clubs because it enables you to make some friends and people from different areas as well, so not necessarily in your degree, which is always quite nice to sort of form a little community as you go through and study. So Unify is the student connection program that has been designed to offer fun, interactive sessions to meet your peers and to form friendships and develop your confidence. So that is a group that you can join through FUSA as well. So help is always available for whatever you need. Orientation videos, so there is an orientation video library. Topics such as essential study skills for uni, student clubs, what they are, why should you join one, a little bit more about our health and wellbeing services that we offer, understanding assignments and grades, because that can be a little bit confusing at university, and once you understand the way things are assessed and the grades that you get. And then of course there's more specific course, study area and college welcome sessions. Connect weeks next week, what's going on at the hub. There'll be quiz nights, movie nights, fair days, meditation, conversation, live music, clubs. Hopefully the weather's nice because then you get to sit out in the hub here and do lots of really fun things next week. Final few tips, keep an eye out in your inbox for student news, which is ping, connect with new friends through Unify, follow social media updates, so jump onto these Instagram if you have them or Facebook if you have it, and follow these social media groups. Join FUSA, which is the Flinders University Student Association, and then remember to seek help if you need it from the support website. Right. Things are a little bit different at uni. So course coordinator, so that's me at the moment. So I'll help you with any study plan issues that you have. If you need to map out a path to get where you want to end up at the end of your degree, I'm here to help you with all of that. I have oversight over all of your progress, so I'll keep an eye on how everybody is going, and I'll work with topic coordinators where I need to, and the student progress team as well. Topic coordinators who are here, and we'll talk to you in a moment. They have oversight of the topic content, all of your learning resources, scaffolding assessments and feedback. They will facilitate and guide you through the learning process. So if it's topic related, get in contact with your topic coordinator. If it's course related and study plan related, then you can get in contact with me. Right, this is how your study plan will look. So there's a few little things that are changing. So these will be communicated to you well in advance. I hope I've got all the topic codes right because they have been changing a little bit lately. So let's start with semester 2, which is where we are at the moment. So you'll be doing Indigenous studies, contemporary, I hope this is right. There's been a bit of movement. Well, good. I checked last night. So contemporary health issues in Australia. Now, we do have our intro to public health, which for 2023 is in semester 2 and is reverting back to semester 1 semester 1 next year. So you'll be doing that here in semester 2 and you'll be joined by all of our students that's commenced at the start of year as well. And then we're replacing this with a communications topic from 2024 when this jumps back into semester 1. So you'll be doing the comms topic next year. Don't worry, you'll get all this information sent to you, so don't panic. And there'll be an option topic for you as well. And the details of that option topic are all in the handbook and probably linked through the enrolments site when you log on to enroll as well. There'll be a list that you can go through and have a look at. And then, next year, when you go into semester 1, you would have already done this. So there will be a different topic in here. Sorry to be the communications topic. And then we've got how your body works, research and study skills, and then our health promotion topic. And then year 2, you can have a look here, biostatistics, race, power and identity and health equity. There's a new topic coming in, which is going to be a qualitative research methods topic. So that's coming in, it will be in for you guys when you get into year 2. And then epidemiology here, which at the moment doesn't have a topic code because it's been moved. And then 3rd year is where you do your placement subjects, your 2 placement subjects, along with some other subjects as well. Option topics, so one difference, option topics is a predefined list of topics you can take. And then an elective is where you can find any topic you like across the university. It needs to be a level 3 topic. So you'll see our topics are coded as 1, 2, and 3. So essentially it's year 1, year 2, year 3, and they're the different levels that the topics are pitched at. So you'll need to find a level 3 topic and you'll need to get approval from the course coordinator. And the idea behind giving you an elective topic is because we hope will have some idea about where you want to end up at the end of this degree. And that's there as an option for you to develop knowledge in a specific area that is important to you that you think you're going to need for that next step in your career. So that's where you can get in contact with the course coordinator and we can talk about what that might look like for you. Okay. All right. Lots of information there, but it's all in the handbook. So have a look. I've got to quickly push through this because we need to move on, but some advice, you're on the pathway to becoming a self-directed lifelong learner, which is really what we aim to provide you with here. So we're here to guide and assist you. You can access a range of supports at the university. This is your time to learn and they're really precious years and they're really good to get those foundations of becoming a lifelong learner. Make the most of it to be the best learner, but please let us know if you are struggling and let us know early because if it gets too late, there's things we can't do, okay? And there's special dates throughout that year, throughout the semester, where you can enroll out of topics if you are struggling without getting a penalty. But if you get too far through, then it's too late, okay? So highlight to us early if you are struggling. Take time out, make some friends, do things you enjoy, have a work-life balance. It's really important. And there's lots of international students in our degree, so it's a really good opportunity to meet international students. Okay, meet the team. How am I going? Oh, I'm 5 minutes late. That's okay. All right, so I'm the course coordinator at the moment. So just a little bit about me. So I'm a balanced academic, which means I do research and I teach as well. I got my PhD here and I've never really moved. So I've taught in the College of Medicine and Public Health for 7 years and I've got over 4 years experience as a course coordinator. So I've run our honours program, our clinical science program, and now I'm helping with the public health program. I'm still the placement coordinator for our college, but this is for our lab medicine degree. I lecture in haematology and transfusion medicine, and my research is in blood cancers, in cancer control. So that's a bit about me, and I'm here in the hospital, whereas the other topic coordinators all sit up the hill in health sciences. All right, Annie's not here, but I thought I'd better include some slides on Annie, because Annie teaches quite a few topics into the undergraduate degree. So this is Annie. Annie is a senior lecturer, so she's a teaching specialist, and her PhD was from the University of Adelaide Medical School on approaches to learning in undergraduates. She's taught in public health programs here for 4 years, and she's very proud on how many students she's taught. So she's taught 930, with the majority being international, and she's very excited because she's on schedule to welcome her 1,000th student in semester 2. So she appreciates the diversity of your educational backgrounds, and she's really, she's really good to assist you if you've got any problems as well, and you'll encounter her quite a bit over your undergraduate degree. So Annie wanted just to highlight that she's worked in a variety of different places. So she's worked in the Royal Adelaide Hospital, she's worked for WorkCover Corporation, University College in Dublin, the University of Adelaide Medical School, as well as the South Australian Medical Education and Training Unit. She's lived in Glasgow, Alice Springs, Dublin and Ireland, and of course here. And she's had a variety of different jobs over her time. So she's been a nurse in acute care, primary health care, and rehabilitation. She was a manager of work injuries as an occupational health consultant. She's worked as a research fellow, a medical education officer, a course coordinator for remote health and public health teaching programs. So Annie was the course coordinator just before I took over. So on that note, so what we're going to do is, I'm only 2 minutes late, that's great. So we've got 5, we're all here, 5, yep. So 5 topic coordinators who, I'll just let them introduce themselves rather than me jump back down every time. And we're going to start, she did. Now I'm going to have to mic you up. So yeah, come down here. Then everyone can hear you and see you online. All right. We can use the handheld, yeah. Sure. All right, I'll turn myself off. There you go. All good to go. Now I think, there you are.
Thank you, Laura. So as you don't know, my name is Shahid Ullah. I'm associate professor in biostatistics for the College of Medicine and Public Health for almost 11 years. So this is my 12th year at Flinders. I came to Australia in 2002 from my country. And from the beginning, I was a teacher. I like academic environment. In between, I went to some corporate, we call the SAMRI, South Australian Health and Medical Research Institute. But honestly, I didn't like it. So that's why I came back again at Flinders. I like the place, and definitely you will like the place. So I teach biostatistics in my whole career. My honors, bachelor, master's, PhD, and my whole career in biostatistics. I never divert to any other field. So that's why you can rely on me actually. So how good I am. Jamil, can you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Any distinction? I don't know if that's on, but still.
Yes, Jamil was my student in the last semester. I believe he learned a lot from
more about coding than actually.
So as you know or don't know, biostatistics and public health are two interrelated disciplines that together aim to improve the health and well-being of populations through research and public health practice. The good news is that the public health students they have been expressing their interest in biostatistics in the recent days due to big data set after COVID and also the public health crisis. We have lots of data in the market. A few examples, we have 140 students in my topic, introductory biostat for master's program, is 110. And for advanced biostat, this is the elective topic. and the increment from the last year to this year is more than 100%. So that's a big achievement of introducing biostatistics in public health. And if you go to any other university, like a big university in Australia and also the North America, then public health and biostat is interrelated, and also epidemiology interrelated to each other. So what is the biostatistics? I don't want to teach now, but the biostatistics is to make a story from the data set. The data is very raw, like a very crude, and then we can make a storyline from this data set using some tools, and then we can disseminate to our community. Then people can understand it. So what does it mean? So in the modern world of big data, students and researchers in public health need to make sense of large amounts of data from a wide range of sources. And then we talk about the population, we talk about the sample, we talk about the summary statistics, the inference, making decision from the data set to a bigger community. So these are our tasks actually in the learning stage. The link between statistical methods and healthcare is not a new one, but the volume of available data to inform healthcare decision and the use of data science in health industry has explored in recent years. And you know all about the data science. And even though in the medical field or in the medicine, they're talking about the data science and also the medicine together. So if you are capable at interpreting statistical data, because not many people actually understand and interpret the data from the health field. So this is a shortage of the expert in this field. So if you are capable at interpreting statistical data, this could be the right career choice for you. You believe it or not, because the world is moving to data-driven approach very quickly. And within this field, there is a need for researchers and practitioners, policymakers to understand and interpret statistical findings from research and practice. And jobs in public health with the quantitative knowledge are in demand. So that's that's my understanding from the many years working in the health-related field, because my whole career, even though I'm a statistician, but my whole career work with doctors, public health practitioners, and also allied health researchers. So I bring an excellent topic. You can see the topic name is the PHCA 2507 called Biostatistics for you to uplift the analytical skills in public health domain. The goal of this topic is to develop analytical skills that are available to public health practice. This session, the biostatistics session, aims to give you a grounding in the basic concept of biostatistical techniques in public health and apply such knowledge in practice. Don't be scared. This is not a very mathematical, completely applied, so you can understand more about the tools, and then you can apply to the health data set. So you will have another opportunity to gain analytical experience from world famous cutting edge technology or programming, because in the recent days, without any software, any programming, learning biostatistics is nothing, because it's not, we are not doing anything in hand. So that's why you need to understand, learn about the software, and then you can analyze the data by using the software, and then you can disseminate the findings. So that's all for me. Contact me by email, phone, mobile, or Twitter for any support. So any kind of information I'm happy to give you. Thanks, and see you in future next year, first semester.
I can't remember. Oh, hey. I hope it's the same order I told you.
Hello, it's really lovely to be here today. And right, my name is Dr. Amy Hickman. I teach work integrated learning placements program here in Bachelor of Public Health. So you'll see me in year 3. I also teach health promotion in the Master of Public Health program at the graduate level. And I've been teaching in the tertiary sector for about 6 years, 5.5, 6 years. 4.5 of those, actually, my math isn't as good as Shahid's. 4.5 of those was at UQ, and I recently came to Flinders in February, so half a year here. Great. All right, so I wanted to start my introduction with a little bit of my standpoint. So I have a good friend, a Waka Waka woman from north of Brisbane, Meanjin, who encouraged me to go back and reflect on my ancestors, my country, which was and is the United States of America. I grew up in the Northeast section in Boston, Massachusetts, and I say Boston the way Boston people do, but it's the only vestige of that dialect I have left. So I'm a settler woman twice. Because of my parents, my father, you'll see right there in the center, and his parents there, and his grandfather on the far right, immigrated to the United States from Germany in the 1880s. And my mother over there on the left, her family, came to the United States very early on, a little after the Mayflower. So I'm actually a daughter of the American Revolution, which is not kind of a dubious distinction, but it wasn't always easy for them, my ancestors, but because of the inherited privilege that they had, they were able to, over generations, to thrive, and I've benefited from that privilege. And from my parents, I was given a really high respect for education, social justice, and really looking out for community. And so that's a little bit about me. And so that was, I'm a settler woman once from the United States, but also twice because I moved to Australia 10 years ago with my family, which is in the color photo down there. 2 lovely daughters, all grown up and out of the house right now. My husband, Mark, and he's at UQ still. Yeah, thank you. We're trying to get them down here. All right, so what innervates my teaching and research? I'm a teaching specialist, and so my research really revolves around the teaching and learning space, but I'm also interested and do research in health communication, qualitative research methods. I teach into those kinds of topics as a guest lecturer, and participatory methodologies and work integrated learning. All of these influence my teaching, both in health promotion and in work integrated learning. The other thing that really innervates my teaching and my research is really my background as a nurse. I forgot to say that, but when I was in Boston, Boston is a city of hospitals and universities, and so I went to university and became a nurse. And because of that, I had an uneasy relationship with that degree, with that career. I enjoyed it, but also was uneasy for a lot of different reasons. So when I went to graduate school, I investigated that. That was my line of inquiry. And what I came out to be, what really bothered me was that intersection between medical expertise, of which I was very much aware because I was at the center of it at Children's Hospital in the ICU as a pediatric nurse, right? And everyday ways of knowing and being about health, body, and disease, which were everyone I was working with as a nurse, and their patients, their families. And so I used to have a little slide around this with a cross, like the top vertical axis symbolizing medical expertise, and the horizontal axis symbolizing everyday ways of knowing, being, and doing. But I thought to myself, in reflection, it's really not that way. There are multiple ways of knowing about medical expertise. Shahid's biostatistics, the other end of the spectrum with me with health promotion. and many ways in between, many different cultural ways of knowing about medical expertise. But there's also many different ways of knowing, being, and doing about everyday ways of understanding our health and well-being. And so the intersection of those multiple ways is what interests me and what helps me understand health promotion, and helps open my mind to continually learn. So that's a little bit about me. About the capstone, capstone course that you'll be, or topic you'll be taking. It's fairly new. There are only about 4 students in it this year. It's when you get there, it maybe the same shape, but we're always thinking about developing our courses and improving them. But at the moment, it is 1 day a week for the whole year, and with learning objectives, different learning objectives for each semester. So we're here to kind of help you grow and learn in the workplace, and to develop professionalism and deepen reflexivity into your practice. Okay. So we have, this year we've been able to match people at Cancer Council, Wellbeing SA, and what's the third one? NCEDA, with tobacco and other drugs. So lots of really good ways to learn here, and that's a little bit about me. Is that okay?
Yeah, great.
Okay.
All right, so who we handing over to? Oh, you're up. Come on down. And there we go.
I was just saying to my colleague Liz, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Luckily, I have a slide that says something about me. Yeah, so my pathway has been a little bit different. Before I was in academia, I spent a lot of time out in sports fields. And so in doing that, you see a lot of interesting different things. But for me, when I was on the sports field, I was thinking a lot about psychology, psychology in sport. So when I finished my sport, I went back to uni and I finished my psychology degree. But one thing that I really was interested about was not so much about my small scope here, but the scope out there, populations. And so I was lucky to find a PhD and a supervisor that was an epidemiologist, and my focus was mental health. So that is kind of where what I bring to public health is looking at data. Well, that was a lot of my career, was looking at data, collected data that I collected, and looking for trends. It really, trends, but also the question, finding the narrative, just exactly what Shahid was talking about, and understanding how things that happen in the community impact mental health, but also we can stratify and categorize different populations and see what's going on for their groups. So for me, my epi took me in like a whole bunch of different directions. So I worked on ADF data, I worked on traumatic brain data, I worked on stuff to do with, as I said, mental health, so a lot of to do with anxiety and depression. But my PhD was on suicidality in the community. So, you know, that's a really, really important area that we need to understand better. And it pops up in all of those different fields that I've worked in, TBI, defence. You've seen the news, right, lately, but also just how communities operate and how cohesive they are together. Heard in the news this week and last week about loneliness as being a key problem, right? We know that loneliness and isolation is integrally linked to suicidality. So that's really important. We can find that out by looking at data and then working out what predicts those. So for me, as I set up here, I'm a country girl, grew up in Strath, and then I came to Adelaide, did a little bit of uni here, juggled a bit of sport, went to Canberra, did more sport, and then sort of popped out the other side and went, here's the Australian National University. I'll just poke in there for a while, do my undergrad bits, PhD, and then I had a family. My little boy Raphael, and he was missing his granny and his grandpa. So we came back to Adelaide, and one way or another I ended up here. So I spent a lot of my career doing little cameos in teaching, but mainly I was a researcher and a contract researcher. So that's why I've done everything. Throwing my hat in all different fields. But kind of like Amy, you know, I've not been here that long as a teacher. So I started teaching last year, so I'm a newbie in that area. But depends on how you feel. That doesn't mean that I don't have a lot of energy. I'm sometimes a little bit irrepressible, so get ready for that. But what I really like about public health, and what I work in, you know, as we do population health, is all the sorts of different fields that I've gone across. They all come together, right? And so last year was a big eye-opener when I came into evaluation in public health context, that not only did all of my stuff, all of my research come into this topic, I brought in my stats, not as good as Shahid, but I also learned, aside from the quantitative, this big epiphany around qualitative. So I looked at my quantitative and went, oh, numbers are really cool, we can find stuff out about it, but the numbers come back to something. And those numbers come back to the items, the questionnaires, the way that we ask people questions. You need to be really, really careful about how we analyse our data, because it comes back to contexts and the ways that people understand what we're asking them. So that is what we start thinking about in evaluation. Evaluation is really important because it integrates with not only what we think about interventions that we run in public health, but also policy. Do we, as you know, a population, want a policy that is based on something with credibility, or just something that we get out of a cereal pack? Okay, so it's really, really important. So we'll learn a bit about some, you know, jargon, I guess, of evaluation. I had to learn that last year. What the heck do these terms mean? But actually, they are just ways of communicating something that is similar to other stuff in other fields, you know, that's around. So we just need to make those connections. And yeah, so learning about how we might go about doing an evaluation, the types of processes, and then also different types of evaluation models. So yeah, we'll be starting some stuff. Just a note, my topic has changed its code. So actually it's a second year subject, so it's 2512. So I'm second year. You do. I noticed your name on my list, so get ready. Yeah, I probably have out of time, but anyway, hold your hair on. It's going to be fun.
Okay. All right.
You got to turn that off.
Please. Just there. That's it. Can you see it? Yep, you're on now.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Liz Buckley. Like many others here, I am also very new to Flinders. I started maybe 6 weeks ago. This is my first time in a balanced academic role. I've spent my previous career in research. I am an epidemiologist by trade, and I have worked in a variety of roles in Adelaide. I have worked as a bench scientist in research labs. I then did have an epiphany about public health, and I had a role doing health technology assessment, which is about looking at the safety and effectiveness of interventions that are being considered for the MBS and the PBS, which affects us all. I did my PhD these photos were taken during my PhD when I did my pilgrimage to London and saw the John Snow pub and the water pub.
Anyone in public health will know John Snow.
Yes, and this is his map as well in the background. Yeah.
I know that.
So,
You should know.
yes, I was actually attending a conference in Glasgow, but I did divert through London just for that. I've also worked in public health programs with Breast Green SA, doing research there. And all of it I found is important because I think we all have that sense of social justice and fairness around health. We all want the opportunity to have good health. And I think that's what drives us all really. I will be teaching Intro to Public Health, so you will see me next week, I hope. What else can I tell you about myself? Except, well, I can tell you that I don't like talking about myself, so I won't be up here for very long. I think that will do for now. So thank you.
Okay. I put your photo up.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
We've got people online.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Hi. Yeah. Sorry. I don't do a slide. I just talk. So I'm Jackie Stevens. I think I meet the Bachelor of Public Health students in 3rd year when you take policy and public health. That's the topic that I'm teaching, which is a semester 2 topic at the moment. I also teach into the Masters of Public Health program, and I also teach the epidemiology component of 1st year medicine. So that's my sort of what I do in terms of teaching. A little bit about me. So I did my undergraduate here at Flinders University a long time ago. This room has not changed in 25 years. It looks like it's the same. It's literally the same. It's like a time warp. So I have, I've literally sat there for lectures where you guys are sitting right now. It's funny. So I did what is now the medical science degree. But back then it was just science, and then you had medical science in brackets at the end of your transcript. So from that, I went into a clinical research career. So I worked for 15 years in hospitals doing clinical trials and collecting patient data. And then through that process, found it really rewarding dealing one-on-one with patients. But yeah, through the process thought, look, I feel like I can make more of a difference if I look at population health and look at the bigger picture of what's going on. So I went and did a PhD in epidemiology, and because I love numbers, nothing makes me happier than sitting in front of a big data set and writing code and crunching some numbers. But paired with that, I think it's really important to remember that the numbers on our screen are people. So while we crunch those numbers, like Kate said, those numbers come from someone filling in a form or someone collecting information about a person. And we have to remember that each one of those lines of data in our data set is a person, and they have hopes and dreams and wishes and family and all those sorts of things that go into their decision-making process. So part of my PhD was also trying to understand the decision-making processes that people go through in deciding their healthcare journey. And that was another part of my, coming to do a PhD through 15 years in clinical care was how do people make decisions about their healthcare. And so I am what I call a mixed methods epidemiologist. So I, like I said, have my happy time is when I've got the music cranking and I'm punching away on my R code and doing analysis, but I pair that with going out and talking to people and doing qualitative research. So I actually do a bit of both. So since doing my PhD, so my 15 years was working in cancer care. Since my PhD, I've worked in the Communicable Diseases Control Branch doing epidemiology work. I have done a lot of work in Aboriginal health, and a lot of my current research is sitting in Aboriginal health. My PhD was really focused at access to healthcare for people living in rural and remote locations. And as we know, people living in rural and remote locations have really difficult time accessing healthcare. And a lot of those people are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. So that's sort of where I landed in terms of my research, but a lot of it is in that space, but I do other stuff as well around geographical mapping and stats, and yeah, a lot of qualitative research, a lot of systematic reviews, and developing all of that, like collating all of that information to inform policy. So I'm a mixed bag of all sorts of stuff going on in my research career as well. So come and have a chat to me if you're interested, or I'll see you in third year when you do policy. Yeah. And it must be over to Jamil.
Did you get my?
I did, there it is.
Yeah, cool, yeah. So I'm Jamil. I'm the student rep for the. Is that all? No, it's not. I'm Jamil. I'm the student rep for the Bachelors of Public Health and also the Certificate of Public Health. A bit about me, which is not on there. I didn't really do too much with this, as you can see. I grew up in Tasmania, and then about a week after I finished high school, I left and I travelled around Australia and New Zealand for 3 years, predominantly busking or playing guitar on the street, as you might call it, as my source of income and living in hostels and all that sort of thing. I got to the end of almost 3 years and I started to burn out a bit doing that, living paycheck to paycheck with a guitar and that sort of thing. And I started looking at kind of what I wanted to do, and a friend of mine suggested I do nursing. So I'm also a nurse as well. I'm an AIN. So I'm an assistant nurse, which I did a TAFE course. So I spent about a year working in aged care in Sydney. And I actually went vegan around the same time, which is directly linked to me going to doing nutrition, which led me to a topic called public health nutrition. And it was funny because a lot of stuff I grew up quite poor and I saw a lot of these issues, and it was stuff I always thought about, but didn't really, I thought that's what a nurse was. So it wasn't until they said a couple of years later, I was like, okay, I'm going to look at what I can do. I did an undergraduate diploma of nutrition at Torrens University online during COVID, which after that, I was like, okay, this public health thing seems really cool. And then I decided to do what I'm doing now, obviously, which is I moved to Adelaide to do the Bachelors of Public Health here, because there aren't many straight up Bachelors of Public Health in Australia. Most of them are health science, things like that. So I think when I was doing it, this was only one of 3 in Australia that I found over about 6 months of research. So, so yeah, there was not many people who were doing bachelors of it. And as you can see, I have a lot of interests in different areas of public health. Everything from just general research stuff all the way through to program planning, policy, just exploring the actual issues in the first place, that sort of thing. And ethics, another one, and something that's becoming quite interesting to me is also how AI will affect public health, and how we can also how we might be able to use it to better public health as well. So I've become quite interested in that area, which is something I never thought I'd be interested in. I run a podcast called A Public Health World. That is not the code for that, by the way. That is the code for the club. I am always looking for guests, so if any of you guys are interested in that, feel free to reach. I should have put my email on there. I'll reach out to everyone with my email later, next couple of days or so. And feel free to reach out to me if you would like to be interviewed on the podcast, because I always like that sort of thing. The QR code is for the Public Health Club. So we're in the process now, me and a few people from the Masters area are creating a public health club. like academic club. So we're hoping to get guest speakers. We're hoping to kind of get that connection thing, which I think is really important. Which brings me to my last kind of little bit of thing, which is a few bits of advice sort of thing as a student. I highly recommend studying face-to-face where possible, because the connections that you get, not just with your teachers, but with your other peers, could even just mean the possibility of you getting a job or not. Something as simple as that. But also Flinders has some really awesome things that happen throughout the year. And as an online student, I can understand if you're in a different country or a different place, but if you're doing online for the sake of doing online, I highly recommend not. As someone who has studied a lot online, but also a lot face to face, you miss out on a lot of the connections that you'll get, which in public health is a huge area for us. Connection is like one of our main things. And if we don't speak to people, then we kind of, I mean, we may as well be doctors. Good. But no, in all seriousness, though, I highly recommend studying face to face where possible, and even just to get extra help. As I said, like it's so much harder to get help when you're online, because teachers can only do so much when you're online. It's even just harder to reach out. And then from that as well, going a bit more towards the actual support, things like that. As I said, if you are struggling, seriously, reach out for help. I know it's some people are really scared to do that, but the schools here to help you. They aren't here to kind of be angry at you if you are struggling. We've got so much support and it's all free. I mean, seriously, I've got friends who have decided not to reach out, and they're now quite stuffed because they can't do anything. And it's worse for international students as well. Like one of my international friends has had this problem where they were too afraid to speak up, and now they're a lot of money down the tube because they can't redo the subject, they don't have the money, and it's just a whole big issue. Another one as well with security, as she mentioned, security is really nice here. So if you actually are on campus, there's also another thing a lot of people don't realize. After hours, security can actually drive you to the bus, train station, or another car park if you need to. And that's actually located just next to Flinders Connect as well. So if anyone is trying to find this a little bit weird, it's directly next to the steps.
And they're happy to do it.
They are, yeah, they are really.
Even come to you wherever
Yeah,
you are,
yeah.
and then escort you.
Yeah.
It's not an inconvenience.
No, yeah, it's part of their job.
Yeah.
And also as well with Oasis, as I said, that thing was a little bit outdated actually. They haven't updated it, and they know that. They've said that. they say that if you're there. But yeah, no, as I said, there's a lot of extra things that they do. They also do stuff with Unify, and I myself am actually a Unify facilitator. So I spent last term doing stuff with Unify, as I mentioned before, which if you can sign up for them and do some of their events, they're really good. I mean, I met people there who are still friends with the other people that they met there today. And it's for new students, it's a really good way to meet new people from different backgrounds, just as Oasis is. And yeah, so it's just, I think, yeah, just don't be afraid to take opportunities where they are. Like, as I said, me doing the student rep thing, as that I've managed to meet some very amazing people, and I've been invited to some things I thought I'd never get invited to. Like, as I said, I got invited to learn about the goals for the next 5 years of the Bachelor, for the whole College of Public Health and Medicine, which was quite interesting to see as a student. So yeah, take those opportunities that are involved, and yeah, but yeah, the join the club as well. So sign up for that. We will hopefully be affiliated with the next lesson, hopefully before the end of next month.
I already signed up.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah. As I said, if you want teachers as well, like lecturers, sign up as well. It'd be great. And as I said, that I've through my podcast stuff, I'm actually heading in a few international lecturers as well, and international people who actually work in the industry as well, to come and speak via Teams or some other similar thing. And yeah, it should be quite good. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks. Okay. Really? Yeah. No, that's okay.
The topic.
Oh, yes, we can do that. Yeah, sure. Yeah, no problems. Okay, so on the last note, we're 5 minutes over, but that's okay. I think this is an important point. So we have topic reps and we also have course reps. So there will be some information coming out from the topic coordinators that each topic has a topic rep, and that person can sort of be the voice of the students in that particular topic and can provide really nice information and feedback back to the topic coordinators. And it really helps us as topic coordinators because it helps us mold our topic to make sure that we're developing that with a student-centered approach and that we're thinking about your needs and what you enjoy and what you don't like about the topic. And so we can make changes year to year, assessment tasks and things. Yeah, that's right. And then course reps as well. So obviously Jamil's second year, it'd be good to have a course rep that sits in every year. So it's probably something that we'll look into getting a first, second and third year course rep. So as new students, it might be something that you're interested in. But once I get that course site up and running on, it'll be Flow because Canvas doesn't have course sites yet. Then I can start sending out some information. All right. Do you have any questions or are there any questions online? Okay, no problems. I'll give them a second and then otherwise you can do your up to Oasis and up to the hub and the library and where to get ID cards. I didn't know how that. Yeah, there you go. Easy. Great. Yeah, sure.
I did post it.
Yeah. How many students? Oh, okay. So we have commencing about 20 mid-year students who just commenced. So it's obviously we've got our first lot of students going into third year now. And so what numbers were fairly small in third year this year? I think 5, yeah. I thought it was about 4 or 5. And then it sort of gets bigger as we go through each year. So I think we had, do you have any idea how many commenced at the start of the year? 30, and then about another 15 to 20 mid-years. So about 30.